just about ready to go. We can decide on how you want to start. You can either lay down on your back with your knees bent, or you can prop your bolster up and just have a block underneath the top of the bolster. And then scooting your bum up to the edge of the bolster and just laying down and allowing that nice heart opener. You can either keep your knees bent, or you can put the soles of your feet together and just allow the knees to fall out into butterfly. Whatever feels right for you tonight. Listening to our body. So we'll start off here. We'll be here for a couple minutes. Just allowing us to take stock of how we're feeling tonight. Releasing the stress from today. So this is Energy Medicine Yoga, and my name is Naira Rubel. And this week we're going to focus on the triple warmer. So the triple warmer is our fight or flight response. And it also governs our habit field as well. So when you're driving or other like negative patterns like smoking or overeating, but it also helps keep us alive. That's the most important part of our fight or flight response. It does have a purpose, but our body doesn't necessarily know the difference between stress of the day or that survival response. It's all the same to our body and how we store that in our system, how our energy gets stored in our body. And so we're going to focus on practices today to calm that triple warmer so that our body knows that we're okay. And communicating to that triple warmer that we're safe. And allowing our triple warmer to be safe also helps us to change those habits, or allow those habits to allow our body to let go of those habits. And so energy medicine, yoga in general, we're going to be using acupressure points, neurolymphatic massage, neurovascular holds. These are all holds on our body that are going to help get our energy moving, helping release excess energy, and helping us release pain or distress from our body as well, just by increasing our mobility with yoga and then adding the energy medicine yoga on top of that. And so just connecting to our breath right now. Again, noticing if there's any stiff or sore areas of your body. And just noting without judgment. Releasing any tension in our forehead, in our temples. Releasing around our eyes, your cheekbones, allowing our jaw to relax, releasing through the neck and the shoulders, down the back side of the body, in the hip area, your thighs, your calves, and your feet. And taking a deep inhale through your nose and exhaling through your mouth. And 2 more cleansing breaths in the nose, out the mouth. And then from here, we're just going to slide off our bolster off to one side. And you can just rest on your side Maybe putting your arm underneath your head. Taking a few moments in fetal position. And throughout the practice today, just listening to your body and only moving as far as what feels right for you. Making whatever adjustments that you need to make so that your body feels good in the pose. And on the next inhale, we're going to push ourselves up to a seated position. And you can grab the bolster again if you'd like to sit on a bolster. If you want to sit right on the ground, that's totally fine too. You can either open your eyes or keep them closed. Just placing our hands on our knees. Again, just maybe rolling the shoulders back and away from the ears. Pulling the abdomen in, tucking the chin just slightly, and just imagining a line, a rope pulling from the crown of your head up to the sky. It's really long, straight spine. We're going to start with the wake up. So we're going to find these points just underneath our collarbone. There are these little hollows. And you can either rub those points or tap them. We're starting the wake up. This is getting our energy flowing in the right direction. And all of these points are connected to our meridians. It's an ancient Chinese medicine that's been around for over 2,000 years, I think even maybe 3,000 years. And this is the kidney 27. This point is really amazing if you're ever feeling anxious. It'll help calm your energy, release that anxiety. Now we're going to move to the center of our chest, our thymus gland. This one is really amazing for helping stimulate the immune system. So if you ever feel like you have a cold coming on, you can either tap this point or rub it, whatever feels right for you. And we can breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth, helping release that excess energy. And now we're moving to the side body, just at the bra line. Side of our ribs. This is the spleen point. This is the mother of all meridians. Taking care of our body, helping us digest our emotions, stress, food. You can even come around to the front of the ribs as well. And while we're tapping these points or rubbing these points, just noticing if anything's sore. If anything's sore, maybe just taking a little bit of extra time there. Or going back to these points later. And shaking our hands off and then coming to our cheekbones, just tapping underneath the eyes. We're now at the stomach point, stomach meridian point. Every time I refer to an organ, it's going to be related to a meridian. The meridians run all over our body. Stomach points are really good for grounding. So if you feel discombobulated, disorganized, you can tap these points to help bring your energy back down, help ground you. And shaking our hands off. I'm just taking a moment here. Again, noticing how you're feeling right now without judgment. And then we're going to begin tapping same hand to same knee. And so this is the homolateral. This is how our energy runs when we're feeling run down or sick. It runs in a parallel pattern. You're going to shake your hand off and move to opposite hand, opposite knee. This is really getting our energy flowing in the most efficient way possible, crossing just like our DNA crosses all through the body, bringing that pattern into our energy field. We'll do that 2 to 3 more times. And then shaking our hands off and bringing our right hand to our left shoulder and giving our shoulder a little bit of a rub, a little massage. And then we're going to cut that hand across the body to the hip, shaking it off. Left hand to right shoulder, massaging that shoulder. And then cutting that hand across the body to the hip, shaking it off. One more time, both sides. Cutting the hand across the hip, shake it off. Last time. And cutting the hand across and shaking it off. And we're just going to bring our palms to our eyes and just cupping our eyes for a couple of breaths here. This is a hold that is really amazing for releasing stress. You probably do this naturally whenever you're stressed out or overwhelmed. These neurovascular holds bring the blood back to our brain. Again, helping us bring ourselves out of that fight or flight response. One more breath here. And then fingers to the center of the forehead. And you're just going to pull out towards the temples, giving your temples a little bit of a rub. And then tracing them behind the ears, down the neck, squeezing the shoulders, and just placing your hands on your heart center. Taking one breath here. Noticing how that feels. Then placing our hands just on the lower abdomen. We're going to set an intention. Use a positive phrase or a positive word. I'm grounded in gratitude. I let go of what no longer serves me. Just whatever feels right for you today. Peace, love. We're going to inhale that intention up the center line of our body, up to our chin, exhaling that into the universe. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhaling up, exhale, release. Last time. And exhale, release. Bringing your third finger to your belly button, third finger to the third eye center, and pressing in and up. 3 audible exhales. Sealing our intentions. And also protecting our energy from other people. Bringing our fingers back to the center of our forehead now. And we're just going to pull out and across. And we'll move all the way over the scalp. So it's the crown pull. We're helping make space in between all of those little bones that make up our skull. Really amazing if you have a headache, if you have any sinus issues. Moving all the way down the back side of the head, the neck, back of the neck. Pulling apart with some nice pressure. Going as far down the neck as you can. And then just giving your shoulders a squeeze again. Out and in between each of the ribs. Helping massage that lymph. Our blood has our heart to pump the lymph all through our body. Once you get to the bottom of your ribs, we're going to come to the back side, massaging on both sides of the spine, and just moving all the way down to the base of your spine at your own pace. And so our heart pumps the blood in our body, but our lymph has no pump. And so it really relies on movement. Massage can help. And that helps bring new, renewed fluids back into our body, helping detoxify, moving things out that we no longer need. And then just give your cheeks a little bit of a rub, and then sweeping off the back 3 times, and shaking our hands off. Okay, so there's a bunch of different kinds of essential oils. So you can pick one, or you don't have to use one at all, but we're going to clear the gates. So you can grab one and just put probably 2 drops in your hand. Just rubbing your hands together. You can even cup your hands and smell. Maybe spreading a little bit on your feet right now. Now when you're ready, we're going to massage in between each of the finger bones. And so actually I'll caution right now, in case anyone's pregnant, this area here you want to stay away from. But if there's no issues, then massage deeply. And so you probably massaged this area before. This is really amazing for migraines. And actually, when you have a headache, you'll notice that this area is super sore. But if you're pregnant, you want to stay away from that area. And then we'll move in between each of the finger bones and pinching off at the gates. And so we're really working our hands and our feet tonight to help release that excess energy. We've got meridians that run over all of our fingers, all of our toes. And so as we're doing this, just notice if there's any sore areas. Again, maybe spending a little bit of extra time there. And so as we go through the weeks, we'll end up finding out what all the meridians are that run over our fingers and our toes. And it's just interesting information to have, bringing awareness to how our body feels. Once you're done in between the fingers, you're going to sweep off each of the finger bones. Again, noticing if there's any soreness. And then massaging along the wrist line. Again, this is helping release stress from our body. Moving to the other side. Taking care and nourishing our body can help bring that triple warmer response in line. So massaging down in between each of the toe bones and pinching off at those gates. The feet might be a little bit more sore, a little bit more tender. And that's okay. Just noticing where there might be a little bit of tenderness. Being kind to our bodies. Helping massage, release that excess energy. And when you're done in between, sweeping off both sides of the big toe, pinching off at the top, and then smoothing down each of the toes and pinching off at the top. And then you can come to the bottom of your foot, and we're going to massage the beginning of our kidney meridian. So it falls in between the big toe ball joint and the second toe ball joint. There's just a little bit of a divot. And this is really amazing for helping bring energy into our system. So we're helping release energy, and then we're helping our body recuperate it, getting it flowing again. And then massaging down the sole of the foot and coming to the Achilles. And again, a caution, if anyone is pregnant, you want to stay away from this Achilles area. If you are not pregnant, then you don't have to worry about it. This is usually a really tender area as well, around the Achilles. This is where all of the meridians that run over our feet come through. And so we have stuck energy, chances are it's stuck there when we. And then you're going to take your pointer finger and you're just going to slide it to the outside of the knee. And there's a little bit of a cavity there. So you're going to massage in that cavity on the outside of the knee. And then releasing our leg down long. You can put a block underneath if you like. And we're going to massage. So this is really good for digestion. So if you have any issues with constipation, you're going to massage from the thigh down to the knee. If you have issues with loose bowel, you're going to massage from the knee to the hip. And if you don't have either, you can massage in either direction. But this is massaging the neurolymphatics for our large and small intestine. And really giving it some good pressure to the point where it hurts. Helping move that lymph out of our system. There's actually a really cool test. I always forget to do this, but if we touched our toes first, if we were standing and touched our toes and then did this massage and went back to forward fold, you would notice a huge difference in how far you can touch the ground. It creates space that quickly. I'll have to remember to do it next time. And then shaking it off. So we're going to move to the other side, massaging in between each of the toes again, pinching off at the gates. And noticing if there's any difference between the first side and this side. If your toes are more sore or less sore. And then when you're done in between, sweeping off both sides of the big toe and off each of the other toe bones, pinching off at the top. And coming to the sole of our foot, so we're going to find that kidney 1 point again in between the big toe ball joint and second toe ball joint. And just give it a nice massage. And then moving down the entire sole of the foot. And again, coming to that Achilles. So massaging behind the ankle bone. And then moving up the calf. Maybe bringing both hands to the back of the calf now, massaging deeply. And then coming to the behind our knee, massaging behind our knee. And coming to the front again. So taking that index finger and just sliding it out to the side, and you'll find that little hollow, that little divot, massaging in there. And then lengthening our leg out. And again, choosing to massage either down from the hip to the knee or the knee to the hip, or in both directions, whatever feels good for you. Again, giving it some really good pressure. If you notice any bruising after any of these massage, you might want to take a little bit more vitamin C. Bruising can be a sign of a deficiency in vitamin C. And just moving down our thigh one more time. And shaking our hands off, crossing our feet again. And just taking another moment here with our eyes closed. Notice how you're feeling now. And then on our next inhale, we're going to sweep our hands up to the sky. And then just dropping your right hand down, moving into a side stretch, really lengthening that left hand away. Noticing your breath, your ribs expanding in the left side of the body. You can look up at the sky or down at the ground, whatever feels good for your neck tonight. And on the next inhale, reaching both hands up to the sky and just dropping that left hand over. Creating length and space in the right side. Noticing your ribs expanding with each breath. And on the inhale, reaching both hands back up to center. And we're just going to go into a light and easy twist. So dropping your right hand to your left knee and just gently looking over that shoulder. You don't have to go too deep yet. Just waking up our body. Again, noticing the back side of your body and if there's any discomfort. And the next exhale, coming back up through center. Inhaling our hands to the sky. Exhaling, left hand to right knee. Gently looking over the right shoulder. And I just realized my music stopped. And then exhaling back through center. We're going to come onto our hands and knees now. So we're moving the bolster, just placing it to the side. If you like to use blocks throughout your practice, you can bring your blocks to the front of the mat. We're going to move into cat-cow. So hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. As you inhale, dropping your tummy, looking up to the sky, opening your heart. And exhale, rounding. Inhale, opening. And exhale, rounding. Moving through a few more at your own pace, your own breath. Noticing if there's any sticky points as you move from one direction to the other. Maybe taking a little bit more time through those areas. And last time, inhaling and exhaling. Back to tabletop, untucking our toes and just moving into a child's pose. You can reach your hands out long in front, maybe rocking your head from side to side. And then we're just going to move through either from child's pose to tabletop or child's pose to cobra, whatever feels right for you tonight. Inhaling all the way through to cobra or tabletop, looking up, opening those hips. Exhaling, child's pose. Inhaling, tabletop or cobra. And exhaling, child's pose. Again, moving through a few more at your own pace, your own breath. Really notice the spine flowing. Again, where there's any sticky points. Noticing and taking your time. And when you come back to child's pose this time, you can bring your knees to the width of the mat. And just sitting all the way back, pressing your hands away from you. You can rest your forehead on the mat, or you can even use a block and rest your forehead on the block. And then we're just going to flip our hands. So instead of having our hands palm down, we'll have our palms facing up. Taking a couple breaths there. Flipping our palms back down to the mat. And just walking our hands over to the right side. Again, noticing the left ribs expanding with each breath. On the next exhale, walking our hands back through center and walking them to the left-hand side now. Reaching away from our body. And that nice side body stretch. And the next exhale, walking back through center and coming back up to tabletop. So tucking our toes, maybe just walking our hands, just another hand width out. Getting ready to push back into downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, we want to make sure our fingertips are pressed into the mat. We can wrap our elbows towards the center line, and that helps protect our shoulders. And just releasing the head, rocking it from side to side. And making sure you have a nice long, straight spine. And if it feels good, you can pedal your feet. And bringing our feet back to stillness, taking a couple more breaths here. Two more breaths. Reaching our left foot up to the sky and pulling that left foot all the way through into low lunge. You can drop that right knee. If you like to use your blocks, feel free. I like to have blocks next to my feet sometimes. It takes the strain off my hips. Just taking a few breaths here. Really allowing our body to rest, relax. And then grounding down through that right hand, Lifting the left hand up to the sky, taking a breath in that low lunge twist. On the next exhale, releasing that hand behind you, inhaling up and backwards arm circles, exhaling back, inhaling up. Again, moving as quickly or as slowly as you like. Really spending some time in those areas that are a little bit sticky and sore. One more time. Reaching our hand back up to the sky and flicking each finger, and flicking all the fingers. And then Celtic weave, figure 8 pattern, all the way down to the ground. And we're just going to pull that knee back through center. And we'll lower our body all the way down to the ground. Stacking our hands on top of each other, and then the forehead on top of the hands. And just rocking your hips from side to side. This is the triple warmer rock. Again, helping calm that fight or flight response. Sometimes you may have done this to a baby to help calm them before sleep. And then bringing our hips back to stillness, placing our hands just underneath our shoulders. And you're just going to peel the upper body off of the mat. So not very far. Keeping that chin tucked, engaging the abdomen. Taking a couple breaths here. On your next exhale, releasing all the way down to the ground. Stacking the hands, rocking. We're just teaching our body after we stress our body a little bit physically, and just with a very small back bend. We're teaching our body that we're safe, it's okay. Release that stress. And then stilling the hips. And we'll do that one more time, placing the hands underneath the shoulders, engaging that lower body, and peeling the upper body off the mat. Maybe a little bit further this time. Again, pulling that abdomen in, tucking the chin. And the next exhale, releasing all the way down to the ground. Stacking the hands, rocking the hips. And then stilling the hips again, tucking the toes, placing our hands under our shoulders and pushing all the way back into downward facing dog. Taking a couple breaths here. On your next inhale, lifting that right foot up to the sky and pulling the right foot all the way through to low lunge. Again, using your blocks if you like. Taking a couple breaths here. You can use your blocks on the short side or on the next short side or the tall side, whatever feels good for you. Bringing that left hand a little bit closer to the body, reaching the right hand up to the sky. And on your next exhale, moving through those backwards arm circles, inhaling up, exhale, release. Noticing if there's any difference between that side, this side, and the first side. One last time. Reaching your hand back up to the sky, flicking each finger, and flicking all the fingers. And Celtic weave, that figure 8 pattern, your hands all the way back down to the ground. This time we're going to step to the front of our mat to forward fold. And you can use the blocks if you like. If you want to put your hands on a block. Or if your hands touch the ground, that's okay too. Just having a nice bend in the knees. Maybe rocking the head from side to side, releasing the neck. You're going to bring your hands to your lower back and just doing some circles on your lower back. We're stimulating the Ming point, the sea of vitality, getting our energy flowing, connecting our energy with our life's purpose. And then moving the hand circles in the opposite direction. You can bring your upper body up into a little chair, pulling the abdomen in. And then you're going to just bring your hands to the front of your hips, flipping your hands back and forth, tracing the outsides of your body, cupping your hands around your mouth, 3 exhales. And then hands on your heart center. Taking a breath here. Releasing our hands down to our side. Bring your hands just across your lower abdomen. And this is going to be really good for our digestive system. So as we inhale, we're going to press up, massaging our abdomen, pulling in underneath the ribs. Exhale, release. Inhaling up, pushing in, massaging. Exhale, release. One more time. And exhale, release. And this time we'll go in at the ribs. Inhaling. Exhale, pushing down, shaking it off. We'll do that one more time. Inhaling up, exhale, release. Exhale, release. Last time. And then in at the ribs and exhaling down, shaking it off. Coming to that xiphoid process, that little bone in between our ribs. We're going to come out about an inch on either side of that and just massaging down our abdomen. You might notice some really sore areas. We're going to hit our adrenal gland acupressure points, cortisol. Again, really amazing points for helping release stress from our body, but also for helping digestion. Sometimes when we're stressed, our digestion gets out of whack. And so this is going to be really helpful. So coming again back up to that xiphoid process, out about an inch on either side. And now noticing where those sore points are. And closing your eyes, going internal. And then once we get it down to our pubic bone, just shaking our hands off. Bringing our hands to heart center, inhaling, bending our knees, stretching our hands in opposite directions, holding it at the top here. Exhale, release. Inhale, bending our knees, reaching in opposite directions. Exhale, release. One more time, both sides. Inhaling, reaching in opposite directions. Exhale, release. Last time. And this time on the exhale, bringing our hands all the way down to the ground. Again, just releasing, maybe rocking our head from side to side. And here we're going to trace up spleen. So you're going to place your fingers on your big toe, and you're going to trace up the inside of the foot, inside of the leg, inside of the thighs, coming out to our hips, up the side body, up past the armpits, back down to that spleen point that we started with, and shaking it off. Inhaling, our hands up to the sky, catching the right hand onto the left hand, and just tracing down the outsides of our arms, the sides of our bodies, uncrossing at the hips, Going down the backs of our legs, off the pinky toes, shaking it off. Hands on the inside of the big toe again, tracing up spleen, tracing up the insides of the feet, calves, thighs, at the sides of the hips, up past the armpits, back down to spleen. Shaking our hands off, inhaling our hands up, left hand over the right hand, again, tracing down the outsides of the arms, the side body, uncrossing at the hips, down the back sides of the legs, off the pinky toes, shaking it off. And now this time we're going to walk our feet out just a little bit further. We're going to move into a yogi squat. So there's a couple different options. If this doesn't feel good for your knees, you can always stay in a forward fold, or you can tuck the blanket behind your knees and create a little bit of extra space. The blanket can also go underneath your heels. If your heels don't touch the floor, we're just going to sink our bum down into a squat. And just take a few moments here. Again, listening to our body. The yogi squat is really good for digestion, but also good for hip alignment and our entire spine, releasing that vagus nerve that's associated with stress down the back side of our body. One more breath here. And then releasing any props that you might have and coming to a tabletop position. Tucking our toes, pushing back into downward facing dog. We'll just be here for one breath. And then you're going to take your right knee to your right breast, moving into pigeon. So here we want to make sure that our knee is in alignment with our hip and that that back leg is coming out straight from our body. And you can use some props. If your hip doesn't touch the ground, you can always put a block underneath your hip. You can also have a bolster next to your body. And we're just going to release down to the ground. You're going to place the palm of your hand on your forehead and just allowing your fingers to drape over the top of your head. And the other hand is going to connect. So your middle fingers are going to connect at the top of your crown. Back of your skull is going to have a hand on it, and your forehead will have a hand on it. And just releasing down. This is helping stimulate our pituitary glands, endocrine system responsible for our hormones. If you have any issues with our time of the month, this is really amazing for helping regulate hormones, helping release excess again from our body. We'll take about 5 to 10 breaths here, really releasing. If the hold doesn't feel comfortable, you can always release it. Two more breaths here. On your next exhale, if you're still holding, releasing your hands, placing them underneath your shoulders. And just bringing our bum back into a child's pose. If you have the bolster in front of you, you can relax your forehead on the bolster. Just taking a couple breaths here. And the next inhale, coming back up to tabletop position. And this time we'll just walk our hands out a little bit further. If you're using a bolster, you can place it to the other side. And then bringing the left knee to the left wrist, walking that ankle out as far as what feels good for you. Again, making sure that knee stays in alignment with the hip and that back foot is coming out straight from the body. Using whatever props feel right. You can always put a prop underneath the hip if it doesn't touch the ground. And then again, bringing our palm of our hand to our forehead, releasing the fingers over the head, and then bringing the other palm to the back side of our head. And just taking 5 to 10 breaths here, releasing all the way down to the mat or onto the bolster. Again, helping regulate our hormones. Two more breaths. And on the next exhale, releasing that hold, placing our hands on the mat, pushing ourselves up. And this time we can just come and sit on our bum. If you'd like to use the bolster, feel free. You can move into the butterfly pose. So bringing the soles of our feet together. And we're just going to pulse those kidney 1 points again. So right in between the big toe ball joint and the second toe ball joint, pulsing those points. And then we're going to place our hands on the side of our feet. So our first 2 fingers are going to go right below that big toe ball joint. And our thumb is going to go in between the ankle and the Achilles. And so you'll have a diamond pattern on your feet. And then just releasing forward from the hips. You can either keep your spine straight, or if you choose to round it, just be aware of your lower back. Keeping your spine straight and rounding your back has 2 different effects on the stretch. You'll notice which one feels good for you. Again, just paying attention to your body, what your body needs tonight. Under your fingers, you might feel pulsing. We're connecting to the kidney and spleen points, helping strengthen kidney, helping strengthen spleen. Two more breaths. On your next exhale, you're just going to trace your hands back behind your ankle, a couple circles behind that ankle, tracing up the inside of the calves and the thighs, and then coming straight up our body back to that kidney point that we started with. We just trace kidney meridian, and then flicking our hands up to the sky and releasing, bringing our hands to our knees, pulling our knees back to center, releasing any bolster, and just slowly releasing your spine down to the mat. Keeping your knees bent, soles of the feet on the floor. You can shimmy your bum closer to your ankles, almost so your fingertips can touch the backs of your heels. As we inhale, we're going to lift our hips off the mat, lifting our hands up and overhead, stretching away from the crown of our head. Exhale, release. Moving bridge pose. Inhaling up. Exhale, release. Again, noticing how this feels. This is really good for lower back issues and your lower back pain, helping stabilize those muscles, stabilize those joints. Inhaling up one last time and exhale everything down to the ground. And then you're just going to pick your hips up just an inch and place it an inch to the right. And then bringing your knees into your chest, you're just going to allow those knees to fall to the left-hand side. And your arm can either be up straight from the body, or you can have it in your arm in like goalpost arms. If it feels good for you, you can place your left hand behind that upper knee. And you can face whatever direction feels right. If you'd like to look at your hand, get that nice gentle twist in, or you can look up at the ceiling, whatever feels right for your neck tonight. You can extend that top leg if that feels good, if you want to move deeper into the stretch. But don't feel like you need to. Two more breaths here. If you have that top leg extended, you can bend that again. On your next exhale, bringing everything back to center, realigning the spine, pulling the knees into the chest, and maybe rocking from side to side if that feels good. Bringing your feet back down to the ground, lifting your hips up an inch into your chest and just allowing them to drop to that right-hand side. Again, taking whatever option feels right for your hand, out straight from the body or goalpost arms. You can wrap that right hand behind that top leg, behind that top knee now. Extending that top leg if it feels good for you tonight. And placing our hand behind our knee for the achiever of the impossible points. These are gallbladder points, helping release fear from the body, fear from achieving the impossible. Two more breaths. If you have that top leg extended, you can bend that knee again. And then on the next exhale, bringing our knees back to center, realigning the hips, pulling the knees into the chest, rocking from side to side. And then releasing our feet down to the ground and getting ready for Shavasana. So you can place the bolster underneath your knees. There's also a blanket. If you're getting a little bit cool, you can place the blanket over your body. Just allowing your body to get fully comfortable so that you can relax into the pose. And before you fully relax, we're going to bring our hands together, rubbing our palms, creating a little bit of heat. And again, we're going to place our palms over our eye sockets. Taking a few breaths here. And calm our body. calm that triple warmer response. And when you feel complete, you can release your hands down to the ground. Again, just making any adjustments that feel right for you. So your body feels fully supported by the mat. And while you lay here in Shavasana, I'm going to bring you through a short yoga nidra, helping our body fully release and surrender. Feel the earth beneath you. Feel its strength, its solidity, and its unconditional support. Remember that the earth can hold the full weight of your body and anything else you may be carrying. As you inhale, feel the earth rising up to hold you. And as you exhale, feel the force of gravity and accept the invitation to release your full weight down into the earth. Become aware of your breath and notice where you feel it moving. Let the breath rise and fall in your belly. With each breath in, feel how your body is refreshed and purified. With each breath out, feel yourself let go of all the tension from both your body and your mind. May my mind be a flow of beautiful and right wrist joints, pinky finger, ring finger, right elbow joints, right shoulder joints, pit of the throat, left shoulder joints, left elbow joints, left wrist joint, pinky finger, ring finger, middle finger, index finger, thumb, left wrist joint, left elbow joint, left shoulder joint, pit of the throat, center of the chest, navel center, pelvic center, right hip joint, right joint, right ankle, fourth toe, big toe, right ankle joint, right knee joint, right hip joint, pelvic center, left hip joint, left knee joint, left ankle joint, little toe, fourth toe, third toe, second toe, big toe, left ankle joint, left knee joint, left hip joint, pelvic center, navel center, center of the chest, base of the throat, third eye center. See a constellation of stars in your body. See a constellation to the right and to the left of your body. See a galaxy of stars above your body. And see a galaxy of stars below your body. Feel your whole body floating in a sea of starlight. Your body is filled with this light. Let your awareness rest at your heart. Bring your attention back to your breath. Deepening your breath. Beginning to wiggle your fingertips and your toes. Maybe rocking your head from side to side. Just bringing small movements back to the body. Reaching your hands overhead and stretching from your fingertips to your toes. Maybe pulling your knees into your chest, rocking from side to side. And when you feel ready, just rolling over to your favorite side. Resting in fetal position for a couple of breaths. And when you feel ready, pushing yourself up to a seated position. Again, feeling free to grab the bolster to sit on if that feels good. You can keep your eyes closed if that feels good, or you can open them with a soft gaze down to the ground. And just taking a moment to notice how your body feels now compared to the beginning of the practice. Reconnecting with your intention that you started with. We're going to bring our hands, our fingertips together, our pointer finger and thumb together. Pointer fingers are just going to rest in that notch of your throat, thumbs over heart center, and then you can connect all of the other fingers together. This is EMYoga, connecting our heart with our throat, connecting our heart's desires with our communication. And also helping release all that goes unsaid, all that weighs heavy on your heart. Allowing all of that to leave through the hollow that we've created with our hands. And just bringing our hands to heart center. And bring something to mind that you're grateful for, something that you feel really good about, a person or a place or a thing. And just allow that feeling to grow inside your chest. Notice how that feeling of gratitude feels in your body. And allow that to spread through all your limbs, encompassing your entire body. Just knowing that you can come back to this feeling at any time that you feel stressed, and things aren't going well. You can bring that feeling of gratitude into your body and notice the lightness that it brings with it. Hands to heart center, thanking our body for this practice today, thanking you for your time. And bowing our heads and namaste. 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 Thank you so much. You guys enjoyed that. And we'll see you next week. I forget. I think, geez, I can't even remember what we're doing next week. I think it's Radiant Circuits, which is accessing the joy in our body. It's a really nice one. Well, thanks very much, Marg. We'll see you next week.
Yes, thank you very much, Nairi.
Okay. Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.